Speaking about quarterback controversies, and Joe Flacco for that matter, since he was there last year, Commanders D lineman Jonathan Allen said that the QB struggles, Deshaun Watson, all the problems he's been having, are above the shoulders. And yeah, I think that's something that we all pretty much know. Deshaun physically, he's healthy, but mentally he's not all there at all. To draw an NBA comparison, I kind of see it like the Ben Simmons situation. This is a guy who's got a lot of talent, and we saw with Deshaun in 2019, he led the league in passing yards. He almost had 5,000 yards, and that only happens for very elite quarterbacks and Jameis Winston. But Deshaun is a very talented quarterback when he's hitting on all cylinders. But over the past few years, and especially with his guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns, he has absolutely not been hitting on all cylinders, and he hasn't sustained many physical injuries and played through them the same way a guy like Baker Mayfield did his last year with the Browns, and he really struggled that last year. But, if Deshaun's been hurt, he hasn't played. And so, yeah, I think it is pretty apparent. Yeah, the issues with Deshaun are above the head. The issues are with his mentality. I'm not one to question the guy's drive because this is what he spent his whole life doing. If you make it to a professional league, that is your life, that is your career. You spend your whole life working towards making the NFL, making the NBA, making the MLB, whatever it might be, right? So you can't doubt the drive to get there. But once you get there, and once you get that money, once you get that national success, things can change for some people. And some guys are able to find extra motivation to keep them going, and that's what makes them so great. Guys like LeBron, Tom Brady, they're going to circle something on their calendar as extra motivation for that week. Maybe an opponent came out and said something before the game about how they don't fear the team, whatever it might be, right? Just to make extra motivation and keep themselves locked in. And Deshaun has been a shining example of what not to do. He really seems apathetic to the whole situation, and he's on that fully guaranteed contract. So it's understandable why he would be apathetic because he's making all this money. Regardless, it doesn't matter how much it hurts the team, how well he plays, because he only went to Cleveland because they guaranteed him a full contract. And look how that's playing out now. They should have never moved on from Baker. And even last year, Joe Flacco had a much better season. Deshaun Watson, the fall is sad to see, but the fall is definitely here. And I don't think he's ever going to get back to where he was. I don't think he wants to get back to where he was because, he's living now. And there's obviously the off the court issues. But in general, just Deshaun Watson not only have off the field issues plagued him, not only did all those allegations come out, but also on the field, his performance has declined drastically. So just the combination of the two, and you're paying him all that money, it's really just sad to see. As the Cleveland Browns, I believe the organization failed as a whole. And for Deshaun, he's laughing his way to the bank. And I think generally he doesn't really care for the sport like he once did. And it's a shame to see, and I hate to say that because that's an attack on character, right? But from everything that you've given us and from everything that we've seen over the past couple of years, I don't see the drive. I don't see it, tangibly when I'm out there watching a Browns game. If you enjoyed this video, it would be great if you could find it in you to like, subscribe, maybe check out the full podcast on Spotify, follow us on there, follow us on Instagram. I know realistically this podcast isn't going to go anywhere ultimately, whether it's via the segments on YouTube or the entire podcast itself. But I want to get into the sports broadcasting business. I want to be able to promote thought-provoking discussions about the NBA, and I would love to do it via State of the Association. Thank you if you made it all the way through.